Megan's career started in the early 2000s. She appeared in several films in minor roles, including Bad Boys 2, directed by Michael Bay. It's hard to spot her there, but if you try, you can see her. Michael Bay was often criticized for this episode because Megan was only 15 years old at the time, and if you pay attention to Michael Bay's career, some of which will come up next, it's even a little surprising that he's still filming something and hasn't been made into a scary man. This fact causes outrage, as many believe that Hollywood should not allow children to act in such scenes, and how talented director allow it remains a mystery. After this role, Megan began to get third or second-grade roles. In 2004, she appeared in several projects. The most successful among them was the comedy Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, starring Lindsay Lohan. Although it wasn't a box office hit, the film managed to earn $30 million in the U.S. on a $15 million budget. It is believed that, thanks to this film, Megan landed her next big role in Transformers. In reality, Megan was somewhat lucky. From 2004 to 2005, she was rejected from many auditions. She was closest to landing a role in The Amityville Horror, but on the last stage of auditions, the role was assigned to Melissa George. If she had gotten that role, she might not have starred in Transformers. The production of Transformers was lengthy, and they started casting actors early. Megan was available as she had no other commitments at the time. Director Michael Bay ordered her to gain 5 kilograms of muscle mass, so she spent several months jumping on every piece of equipment in sight. Her character in the film was named Michaela Baines, which might have been an inside joke on Michael Bay. The only actor who received a substantial fee for Transformers was Shia LaBeouf. The kid was harassed and humiliated on set, so he claims it was a precaution and that he refused to shoot for food, despite the pleas of producer Steven Spielberg. Megan agreed to act just for her name in credits, like many other actors. Tyrese Gibson even claimed he had to pay producers to get his name mentioned in the credits. Besides herself, Megan brought something else to the film. At least, it is often written about, and no one has officially denied this information. The actress claims that it was thanks to her that the band Linkin Park appeared in the film. Fox said that she was at a Linkin Park concert, after which she met with musicians who already knew that she was in the film, and they persuaded her to tell the producers that they wanted to be in the film, which she did. When Transformers hit the big screens in 2007, it made an explosive impact. The film grossed $709 million worldwide on a $150 million budget and helped Hasbro sell a record number of toys. The release shattered DVD sales records in its first week, claiming the top spot for the entire year. Transformers catapulted everyone to fame, including Tyrese Gibson. Following his role, he was quickly cast in Death Race and later returned to the Fast and Furious franchise. Shia's fee rose from $500,000 to $8 million. Megan Fox was also not forgotten. Although for the first Transformers, she received just a friendly pat on the shoulder, but for the sequel, her fee increased to $800,000. It remains a mystery how much famous brands were willing to pay her, as they eagerly lined up to sign contracts with her. Between the Transformers films, Megan got a bit unlucky. She signed on for 2 movies before Transformers hit the screen, so she couldn't earn a lot on them. However, despite the commercial failure of the comedy with Simon Pegg, How to Lose Friends and Alienate People, the actress could still expect some career growth. In those years, Simon Pegg was considered a rising star after the success of Hot Fuzz and Run Fat Boy Run. His new project, with a budget of $28 million, which also starred Jeff Bridges and Kirsten Dunst, was highly anticipated. However, the film only grossed $19 million at the box office. Another comedy by Fox, called Whore, didn't even make it to the big screens and went straight to video. After the tremendous success of the first Transformers, the second film was naturally ordered to be made in a short time frame. The script for the movie wouldn't have been thoroughly worked on as it was for the first film. Additionally, the production was further hindered by writers' strike. The movie was shot based on sketches that a pair of screenwriters managed to produce in 3 weeks. However, looking ahead, It can be said that this didn't affect the box office at all. Megan Fox often talks about how hard she had to work on this film. First of all, Michael Bay was very upset by the fact that the actress had lost weight between filming the first and second movies. So Fox was put on a cheeseburger diet, monitored by a specially trained person. Fox had to gain 7 kilograms, and in 3 weeks, Michael Bay was satisfied. However, due to the urgency, every cheesy bun turned into fat, and this time it was noticeable in the film. Fox was most outraged by the scene with a motorcycle and shorts. She claims there were at least 10 cameras constantly moving around. She was told that the main camera would focus on her face and that everything else would be in the background, not really of interest to anyone. In the end, it turned out that there were no shots from that main camera in the film, but there were plenty from others, mostly filming from behind. Overall, the actress often likes to repeat that she is not at all like the image portrayed in many films. She grew up in a very religious family, and all those Michael Bay's camera angles always made her nervous. Although Revenge of the Fallen was shot almost without a script, which Michael Bay constantly complained about, the film performed tremendously in theaters. With a budget of $200 million, the film grossed $836 million. In parallel to Transformers, where Fox had a contract for 3 films and couldn't expect an extraordinary salary, she managed to squeeze in Jennifer's Body. Although its filming was completed before the second Transformers hit theaters, she received an impressive $5 million. Jennifer's Body, despite its modest budget, was one of the most heavily promoted films of the year, mainly due to the people involved in its production. The screenplay was written by Diablo Cody, the author of Juno, which, in 2007, grossed $231 million worldwide on a $7 million budget. Diablo Cody was immediately hailed as an incredible talent and flooded with offers and money. Therefore, high expectations were set for Jennifer's Body to achieve similar success to Juno. However, this did not happen. The film, with a budget of $16 million, grossed only $31 million at the box office. The film's director, Karin Kusama, who had previously directed the much more visually striking but commercially unsuccessful Aeon Flux, blamed the failure on the studio and its marketing campaign. According to her, the studio did everything wrong regarding this film, promoting it as a teenage comedy with Megan Fox, even though the movie was about something else. She believes that if the studio had listened to her, the film would have done wonderfully at the box office. Megan Fox agrees with this assessment and considers Jennifer's Body to be the best film of her career. After Jennifer's Body, her another film, Jonah Hex, also failed spectacularly at the box office. This film, with a budget of $50 million, reached theaters in 2010 and grossed only $11 million. It became apparent that audiences were not eager to see her films in theaters. However, the major blow to her career came with the third Transformers movie, or rather, her absence. There is not a lot of information about why Fox was removed from the film, even though she was actively preparing for the role at the time. Initially, director Michael Bay was blamed, as he didn't like that the actress called him a tyrant in interviews and even compared him to Hitler. However, Fox herself never said that Bay had kicked her out of the film, and Bay also denied this. When the uproar died down, Fox was replaced in the third film by Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. It was revealed that producer Steven Spielberg was the one most offended by Fox's comments about fascists on set. Bay later stated that after one such interview, Spielberg called him and demanded that the actress be removed from the project immediately. In those years, it was often said that Spielberg had nothing to do with it, and that Bay simply used him as a shield to deflect all the criticism. However, in 2013, when Michael Bay cast Megan Fox in the leading female role in his production project, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and since Bay had repeatedly stated that he was never offended by Fox's comments, it's likely that he wasn't responsible for her removal from Transformers, although there are still claims that Spielberg denies any involvement in Fox's firing. After 2010, Fox's career took a sharp downturn. Apart from Bay's invitation to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 years later, she was hardly called for roles. She had to act in films like Passion Play, which Mickey Rourke called just another shitty film he got involved in. However, Fox's popularity didn't fade quickly, so she was still invited for cameos, such as in Sacha Baron Cohen's The Dictator. A minor success could be considered her role in the comedy This Is 40, directed by the very popular Judd Apatow at the time. But it turned out that this film did not meet expectations, receiving modest audience ratings and grossing $88 million at the box office with a $40 million budget. Fox was already preparing to move into the B-tier category, but this move was delayed thanks to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Even though the first film was heavily criticized, it performed well at the box office, collecting $485 million on a $125 million budget. However, the second part wasn't as fortunate. With a budget of $135 million, it managed to make only $245 million. There was no one left to save the actress. She went on to star in films of an unclear category. When Fox made weak attempts to act in something else, it turned out to be a film by James Franco, which was shelved for 3 years and then released straight to video. Nowadays, someone decided to make Fox an action star. Who came up with this idea and why is still unknown. But the actress has appeared in several action films made for TV and streaming. These films generally have viewer ratings of around 5 out of 10. This should have been a hint, but Fox was cast into Expendables 4, which flopped catastrophically and earned Megan Fox and Sylvester Stallone 2 Golden Raspberry nominations. One of her latest films, Midnight in the Switchgrass, is one of Bruce Willis's best-rated films, considering his current career. Surprisingly, Fox still has good advertising contracts. Whatever she does with her appearance, these contracts allow her to live well. A couple of years ago, she broke up with the star of the series Beverly Hills, and many believe she has finally blossomed and might still reboot her career. Moreover, she is again appearing on the covers of various tabloids due to her relationship with the famous musician Machine Gun Kelly. Nowadays, Megan Fox is 38, and even though she was marked with a golden raspberry at the end of a long string of failures, she still has enough time for 2, maybe 3 impressive comebacks. It will be tough for her, if not impossible, to return to the level she was at in the late 2000s and early 2010. But the world is a strange place, and perhaps Megan Fox will get lucky. Leave a like, and I hope you explore more. Hollywood lore.